Welcome back to another video. It's Bradford v Carlisle match reaction. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below, and your player ratings in the community tab or in the comments down below. It was an interesting game. I thought first half we were very good defensively. I thought we gave them nothing throughout the game actually, but first half were more impressive. We sat back in a good shape, but we weren't passive. You know, I thought Clayton, Gilead, Smallwood took it in turns to go out and get tight to someone. We nicked the ball, countered at times, and that final touch should have been better. I think Chapman had a couple of poor touches and we lost the ball too easily. But you know, I thought the first half were alright, got into 0-0, had a good chance then to go for it a bit more in the second half. We did, we had a bit more on the ball, created a few more chances. We only had one shot on target I think, but in that second half we had so many good chances, but we just put wide or it went over. I think we hit the bar once or twice. So I thought the second half were really good, and another day we could have won that game. But they're a very good side of Carlisle, and I thought they did play quite well. They didn't just sit back, they didn't time waste too much. On the red card for Chapman, but which could have got, I don't think it was. I think the referee got it right. He was in a good position, and to be fair, he gets round him. It wasn't quite last man though. I thought Callum Guy, I think it was, just ran past the man who fouled Chapman, and I thought yellow card was probably the right call, to be honest. But yeah, I thought we had a pretty solid game there, and on another day we could have won. They had a couple of chances as well. It was quite an entertaining game, and the first half were a bit cagey, but we got through it. The only disappointing thing is it wouldn't have been a bad point if we went and beat the teams that we should have been beating, Newport, Walsall and Hartlepool on the weekend. If we went and beat them, that point, brilliant point, move on to Grimsby and try and get another big 3 points there. But because of the previous 3 draws, that feels like 2 points dropped maybe. But yeah, I think if you offered me a point before the game, I probably would have gone, alright, you know, I'll take that. And it's how we deal with the next few games. The only concern, like I say, is that we're settling into these draws now. That's 13th draw of the season, 4 in a row, and creating chances and taking our chances is a problem, because Andy Cook, you know, 22 goals, is it 23 goals, he is our only outlet. You know, he's our only way of actually scoring a goal. Give it to feet, hope he can turn someone, and then hope he can get his shot off, and it didn't quite go for him today, like it did in the reverse fixture. Unfortunately, that's our only problem. That's our only way of scoring, and we don't have anyone else who can quite step up. I thought there were some really good individual performances as well as the good team performance. I thought players like Gilead and Smallwood had fantastic games, probably the best of the season for them. And yeah, some players stepped up today. We saw Dion Pereira return. But yeah, like I say, first half were really good, defensive, organised, had a good shape, didn't give them anything. Second half we continued to play that way, but we had a few chances that on another day could have gone our way, and unfortunately they didn't. But we're still in and around there. We're 5th now, we're 61 points, and we're 5 points away from Carlisle still. With Mansfield having 2 games in on behind us, that could put a bit of pressure on us. But I think we should be fine for the playoffs. I think if we don't get playoffs, then that is a pretty big bottle job. And we move on to Grimsby. I think we're having more than a week off now because of that Crew game that probably should be getting played, because I don't think their players that are on international duty properly play for them. But that game's going to be massive now. That away game probably will be a Tuesday night back into a season. But yeah, we've got to go to Grimsby, which is going to be a tough game. They've won the last 2, unbeaten in 3. You know, that it's going to be a tough game for us, but we've got to be beating those teams, like, you know, we've said many times this season. 1 o'clock kick-off, April Fool's Day, hopefully. There's no fooling around from us. But we've got some massive games coming up. We've got Grimsby, Crawley, we've got then Sutton, Swindon, Gillingham as well. They're not a bad side, and Orient and Northampton. And out of those next few games, we drew to Grimsby away, we drew to Crawley at home, we beat Sutton. I think Easter scored on that game. We lost to Rochdale, we drew to Swindon at home, we beat Gillingham, we lost to Northampton at home, and we lost to Leyton Orient. You know, how many points is that? So I'm a bit pessimistic going into those games when I look at how we did in reverse fixture, and our tendency of not doing well against the teams at the top of the table, apart from Stevenage of course, and the teams at the bottom of the table we're not so good at against either. But we've got to step it up now. We've got a massive few games ahead, and we've got to make the most of it. We've got to go on a good run now from now to the end of the season. But yeah, in terms of performance, I thought we were okay on another day. Like I keep saying, we could have won. But let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. Into the player ratings, Harry Lewis gets a 3 for me. Got the clean sheet. I think his distribution at times could have been a bit better, but he didn't do it wrong. Didn't have too much to do, and yeah, a decent game. Halliday gets a 4. I thought he was pretty good. Halliday going forward, he got forward quite a lot. When he won the front foot, he was direct. You know, he wanted to go forward and take players on. Previous to that, he's always gone backwards and played a pass back to Platt, and then we haven't got a rhythm going, and he did that a lot today, and that's because he had a winger in front of him, he had Banks in front of him, so there's that option down the line, which massively suits him, and defensively I thought he was decent as well. Matty Platt gets a 3. I thought he was okay, didn't do too much good, didn't do much bad, he was just average. Won a few headers in the box. Obviously his distribution of the ball gets questioned a lot, who's sitting out of touch a lot of the time, but yeah, he had a decent game. Stubbs gets a 3 again, decent game, probably slightly better than Platt. I'd probably give him a 3.5, but yeah, again got his head onto most things that came into a box, dealt with Dennis pretty well, and yeah, I thought he had a pretty decent game. Liam Rydell 2 out of 5, better than last week. That's why he gets a 2, improving on that 1. But again, he ain't good enough, and that's something that we have to improve on. I don't know if Folds would get straight back in the team. I don't know how he's doing it. I think he got in the team of the week last weekend. But I want a fan of Folds, not a fan of Rydell. Bowler, we haven't seen enough of. Personally, I'd play Critchlow there next game. 3 at back could be the new wave. Critchlow, Stubbs, Platt, and then Gilead as a left wing back. That could be a possibility, but I'd play Critchlow in left back. I think he's got the ball playing ability. He brings the ball out well. He ain't good at crossing, but that's when, you know, instead of going wide and overlapping, come on the inside. But yeah, I thought Rydell were pretty. He wasn't great. You know, he was just below average really. Into a midfield, Clayton gets a 4. I thought he was pretty good. Controls the game. Played some good passes. He played a really good pass in behind for Cook, but he couldn't quite control it. But yeah, he had a pretty decent game. Slightly better, you know, when some protected the back line relatively well and intercepts the ball. You know, he's a constructor. He conducts the game very well. He controls the game. Yeah, I'm tired. Moving on into Smallwood, he gets a 4 out of 5, a man of match for me. I thought he intercepted the ball well, got tight to players, you know, he were tight, got a load of good tackles in, aggressive, on the front foot, played some good passes. Yeah, I thought he had a fantastic game and rightly got man of match. Gilead again gets a 4 out of 5. He had to play on the left as a left wing back, and I think that's why Hughes likes him. I like him because of that energy, and Hughes likes him because he's flexible and he's got good versatility. You know, he had a good game. I thought going down that right side. It's probably our strongest side. You know, especially in this game, Banks, Gilead, Halliday. It looks the stronger out of the two sides. But yeah, I thought Gilead had a strong game again. Shows a lot of energy, and I think he does a lot off the ball, which goes unnoticed, and I think he's a bit, you know, he can go under the radar at times. Then Banks, I thought he was okay, maybe gets a 3. At times, again, like most wingers, they're inconsistent, you know, they'll do one good, they'll take a player on, they'll go around them, then they'll put a good bad cross in, or they'll put a good cross in. They're inconsistent, and I thought Banks, you know, he was just a 3. You know, he wasn't in the game as much as we would have liked him to be. Then we've got Chapman. It's a tough one with Chapman because I thought, especially in the first half, defensively really good. His work rate, track back, he was playing as a left wing back most times, tracking back, helped Rydell out. But then when he got the ball and he were coming inside and they were trying to do too much, and I think that's because he was being out the team, he's trying to impress Hughes, but he was over trying to do it. And then second half he was much better than the first half going forward, which want a lot to improve on. But he wasn't good going forward, but I really liked his work rate defensively. So it's a tough one, but I'll give him a 3 because I admit he wasn't good enough on the ball today. And then Andy Cook, fantastic performance again from Cook. It's got to be a 4. Unfortunately, he didn't score and didn't take any of his chances. I think when Oliver came on, he was a bit of a distraction to him, got in his way a couple of times. But he's just like a bulldozer. He's on a man and he'll just go past them. He'll find a way of getting that strength, even if they're quicker than him. He's got the strength on him. He's unbelievable. And I was confident he was going to score a couple of his chances, but especially when Oliver came on, they seemed to want to go for the same balls, and especially Oliver coming on into a team trying to fight for his place, he's going to overdo it. But yeah, I thought, I'm seeing a few saying, can we play Oliver and Cook? I don't think we can because of that, but they both want to go for the same ball. They're two very similar players, whereas Costello isn't that selfish, and it does give Cook a lot more time on the ball and a lot more time to get away from one-on-one fit situations, because I think they were playing a 3 at the back, and he found it hard at times, but he's a bulldozer who finds a way through. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the goal, and when Cook doesn't score, we don't win. That's the problem. We need players to step up now. We've got a tough run to the end of the season. We've got 8 games left and 9 games. And we need to go on a good run. We need to get in the playoffs at least. But the autos are still there. A point against Carlisle ain't too bad. We've still got to play Northampton. We've got some big games ahead. Let's go for it now. Shackles off. Let's go for these automatics, because they're still there to be played for. I think Stevenage still have a tough run. So let's go for it now. I want to see us go for it a bit, because I think playoffs we should be able to grind out enough results to get in there. But let's go for the autos. There's no reason why this squad can't go on and get it. Subscribe if you're new, like the video if you liked it, but let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. Have a good one.